Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more of the DUBAI Sevens. This matchup, Samoa versus Canada. Now, it's an interesting one because they have two active fields in Dubai. Some of these games overlap. And the question is, are we going to get to see Samoa Canada, or will it be Australia versus Canada that they do show on this one? Either way, we're still going to be able to keep you updated with the score that is happening in the Samoa versus Canada game. Who's in the starting lineup, who's coming off the bench, etc. It just may not be the game that they actually have showing. So it's going to be a bit of a different live stream, this one. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets themselves the win, Samoa or the Canadians. We saw Samoa, they had to fight hard in their first game up against the Japanese, who were not going down easy. But in the end, the Samoans getting themselves the 21-point win. Looking through at the starting lineup that they have gone with in this matchup, it is going to be Va'a Apilo Maliko, Volvasa Afasua. So they have got both of the co-captains in the starting lineup there. Then it's Motu Opitai alongside him, Paul Scanlon, Steve Onisai, and then Noeli Letufia, the last man in that starting lineup for the Samoans. For Canada, it is Phil Burner, Jake Thiel, Alex Russell, Josiah Mora, Cooper Coates, Brock Webster, and Lachlan Kratz is the last man in that starting lineup. For the Canadians, we have got Dribiazeg Gugu Gaga as well. Very, very intelligent there. And also, let's go Manu Samoa, says Nate. And also, what live stream software do you use to live stream? So I do use something called StreamYard. And it's kind of the easiest way I find. But it is relatively expensive if you have the premium plan, which is what I have ended up purchasing for this one. But currently, the game, it does seem like it is going to be Australia versus Canada that they are showing on Sky. I was looking through everywhere that I could to see if I could find a way of watching the second field in Dubai. They're going to keep us updated with what is happening in that game as well, though. Currently in that one, it is 0-0. So we're going to be doing a bit of a co-commentary for this matchup. I'm not sure how this is going to go. If it does end up going badly, the live stream may end up getting taken down off the channel straight away after, just because if it doesn't feel right. But Firebrow or Barrow has said, let's go Samoa and go Manu, says NS Charles. So talking about some of the information for this matchup, looking also at the benches, Paul Etislati was in the starting lineup for the last game. He did extremely well in that contest. And currently, I'm hoping the scoreboard does realize that this game is also kicking off very soon. Tuna Tuitama, also another player who was in that starting lineup on debut for the Manu Samoans, did pretty nicely in that first matchup. Yuna Sioni there at number 3. He will be coming off the bench alongside Levi Milford and also Fa'afoi Falaniko. And for the Samoans, this is a game that will help them build towards their next game up against the USA. And that is one that we definitely know will be on Sky in New Zealand. That's taking place at about 3:30 a.m. New Zealand time. We will be covering that one as well. But currently, Olivia Apps got the throw-in for Canada in their game up against the Australians. And, of course, the Aussie woman, they're going to be going in as one of the favourites of the women's competition as well. But there is already a try in the match between Samoa and Canada. Like I mentioned, we can't actually see it, but we've got a live tracker to be able to work out what's happening. Va'a Apilo Maliko, the first try scorer in that game. The conversion has gone over from Noele Letufia. So Va'a Apilo Maliko, he has been an absolutely brilliant player over the last 12 months for the Samoans, ever since they made their way back onto the Sevens circuit. Scores tries for fun, and he's been able to do it once again. But him and Yuna Sioni, for me, are the two keys for the Samoans in this competition. In fact, it was Paul Scanlon who was able to get that conversion, not Noeli Letufia. We have got, can you do the Gloucester Rugby versus Northampton Saints game live together? Can we do the Gloucester Rugby Northampton Saints game live together tomorrow? I believe that game, if I'm not wrong, if it's like the other Premiership Rugby matches, overlaps with either the URC or the Sevens. So I don't think I will be doing any Premiership Rugby this weekend, unfortunately, for myself, but I hope to do in the near future alongside the Champions Cup. It is coming up relatively soon. But Samoa with a good 7-0 lead over the Canadians early on in this contest. And it's kind of a weird one with how the fields are laid out. The fact that they don't have a camera constantly on the second field. On that second field, though, we saw Uganda versus France. It was a good game going down to the wire in the end. France, they were just victorious over Uganda. And how do you watch this game, says LP? Unfortunately, as weird as it sounds, I don't believe there's a way of watching it other than every once in a while when on the women's game, they show it in the corner, which is a shame because I know a lot of people wanted to watch this game. It's probably, in a way, a bigger drawing card game than Australia versus Canada, but for some reason Sky don't have both of the fields in play. But we are keeping an eye on it in a live tracker that kind of shows where they are on the field, everything along those lines. And howdy, says CP from Cape Town. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. Someone who's not going too well, South Africa. They did lose their first game up against Great Britain. They'll be disappointed with that because they should have had a good crack of going through relatively comfortably. But looking at the way that the pools are setting up, there's some big matches that are coming in the near future for the quarterfinals. 14-0. Samoa score again, ladies and gentlemen. They have been able to get their second try of this matchup. And they are starting to really looking like they're run away. And another one, Maliko under the post. How are you watching it, Ines Charles? Or are you also watching the live tracker? Because it's got Valvasa Afasua as the try scorer for that one. Or at least it does on mine. Not surprised. Same old, says CP. And there, but the next game up against the Kenyans could be a good one. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that one very close indeed. Yeah, Valvasa Afasua. I've said that he's been able to score the second try of this contest, now making the score 14-0 in favour of Manu Samoa. And also, how do we watch? There's David Samoa. I'm watching it. Oh, so Supersport actually. Wait, do Supersport have this game being shown as well, CP? Do they have the second field or do they just have Canada versus USA? Do let me know. But how can we watch? I believe it should be on World Rugby's website, but for some reason this game is one that they just aren't really showing anywhere, which is extremely strange. But Letufea says that he got the conversion 14-0 in the contest. Still another 2 minutes or so left of the first half. Samoa, their next game, like I mentioned, they're going to be playing up against the USA, yes, and the second field. I feel like I need to get Supersport now then. Although this is the only competition that they have had like multiple games going on actually at the same time. So Supersport second field sounds like your best option. And also we look at their Supersport Stupid. They have two channels showing sevens and both as women's games for the next 2 hours, missing all the men's games. Oh, I see. So maybe Supersport having a bit of a problem there as well, showing the same game twice. It's nice work from Canada, though, in the women's game up against the Australians. And also Merry Christmas, Hamish. We are getting very close to Christmas and just on a different Supersport channel. Says CP and Go Maliko. Yeah, Va'a Pilo Maliko, an absolutely sensational player. And we'll be looking to continue building forward. And they are showing women's games, says David Samoa. Yeah, so it's a weird one. There's a channel just for rugby. Do you know what channel that is, CP? Do let me know. But it's weird because the TAB don't even have this game as one that you can kind of watch or bet on. I think they're struggling to work it out. Maddie Levi about to run in another try for the Australians up against Canada. That will make their score 14-0, same as what we've seen in the game between Samoa and Canada here in 201 and 211. Both shows Australia versus Canada, says Lamox, and 211 Rugby HD. And Go Manu Fa'amalosi, says John Mowen. They've started this match very well, getting the 2 tries, although Canada firing back with the try just before. Phil Burner scores it in the 6th minute, and that will try make them a bit closer. Samoa need to win this game, though. If they want to get themselves that first place position, I haven't actually worked out who's playing who in terms of the teams yet. We'll have a look at that at halftime, see who they would end up versing in the pool stages if they were to win all their games. The Gloucester game is at 5:30 p.m. UK time, so that would be 6:30 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. New Zealand time. So, yeah, I believe that is actually the same time as the Sevens final. And also 4K, says CP. And also, come on, the boys, says Ines Charles. Yeah, they'll be disappointed to concede that try just before the halftime there, Samoa. 2 co-captains, though, Va'apilo Maliko and Valvasa Afasua, both scoring themselves the nice tries and doing any URC this weekend. I'm hoping to do one URC game, I believe, on Sunday morning, Carl. Whether that is going to be Sharks. Actually, I'm going to have a quick look and see who I've got. It's either going to be Cardiff versus... a moment. Where are we? URC. It's either going to be the Bulls versus Cardiff or the Stormers versus the Dragons. But Stormers Dragons is a bit more of a question mark because that could be at the same time as the semi-finals of the Sevens. So more than likely it will be Bulls versus Cardiff if we are still awake at 7 a.m. That'll be the plan. But currently at halftime in this game, 14 points to 5 in the game between Samoa and Canada. So relatively high-scoring first half in the game between Australia and Canada. For anyone wondering about that women's game that's going on at the moment, 14-0 for the Australians. I believe that is pretty much expected for the result. And I would say to an extent, Samoa versus Canada is going about the same way that people would have expected. I think we're going to see 2 more tries from Samoa in the second half and another one from the Canadians. That's because that seems to be the trend of concede a try and then get back into it as well. So we're going to go down. It is going to be for the quarterfinals. They've got first in Pool B versus second in Pool C. So we're going to have a quick look at the way that the table sits currently and see who would be facing off against who in terms of their groups. But yeah, Pool B play Pool C, Pool A play Pool D. And next weekend, Rugby Sevens, exactly right. It is going to be the Cape Town Sevens in action. I love the amount of sport we've got on at the moment. We've been doing cricket on the channel as well. Currently, Australia 22-1. For anyone wondering about that contest between the Australians and the West Indies. But for the table, current standings in Dubai. That's what we're after. Standings in Dubai. So at the moment, the way that it's sitting, it's going to be either Fiji or Argentina more than likely going head-to-head with France or Spain. You'd have to say Pool C is probably the weakest pool that they have got at the moment. So Samoa, this is going to be interesting. If Samoa finish top of their group ahead of the USA, which will all come down to their final matchup, they will be playing up against the winner of Pool A, which includes Great Britain, the team in second. They've got Great Britain, Australia, Kenya, and South Africa. That's a tough one. Whoever Samoa play in that group, it's going to be one that they need to be on their A game. But that's the kind of thing that Samoa strive for. They want to be successful. They want to be the best side in this competition. And I actually picked them from the start to be the side that will win the whole thing. And I hope they do back me up in terms of that and can use starting lineups video for the URC in the future. We could do. I mean, it's one of those ones that I think once we end up with more time on, because normally it's about that Wednesday and Thursday or Thursday, Friday that they announce their sides. And because we were doing the international rugby, we did end up doing a lot of those lineups. But now that we've got that gap, I mean, it's probably doable, to be fair, that we could end up doing the lineups for, is it all the South African games or every game? Because I assume South African-wise would be the better choice, just because I know we've got a lot more South African viewers who do want to know those lineups. Currently, Australia are going to be scoring themselves another try there, Shani Williams. And that matchup, still half-time in the game between Canada and the Samoans. They will be getting back underway in the near future. And also, let's go Manu Samoa with the Samoan flags from Akanesi. And also go the Manu, says Jason. And also Fai Sisi Kasi Maleko, says Enes. Hopefully I've said that correctly. But yeah, Va'a Pelo Maleko, he's certainly one of those players who steps up every time that he needs to. And I hope that New Zealand and Fiji don't end up playing Samoa till way later in the competition, because that will be the best chance for Samoa to continue building their momentum heading into those later games. Because if they win this game, that's actually them already, that would be them confirmed into the quarterfinals. As long as they beat Canada, they've just scored another try, making the score 19 points to 5 now. Normally teams are announced Thursday and Friday, all teams, says CP. And there as well. So I guess there's options of either doing it as one video or doing it as the separate ones as they're announced. Normally it's the tricky part of waiting for both teams to announce it, which is why we kind of do sometimes half of the teams, if that makes sense. Like when we've done the All Black starting lineup compared to when South Africa announced it, we always know South Africa announced it so much earlier. Paul Scanlon was the try scorer as well, for anyone curious about that. The conversion was successful from Samoa, making the score now 21 points to 5 over the Canadians. And half is fine. And Fa'amalawasi boys, says Solly. And there as well. But Matty Levi also now just scoring for Australia, taking it over to 26 points to 0. Now, I mentioned as my prediction that Samoa would be able to get 2 tries in the second half compared to the one of Canada. We're yet to see that Canadian try, but we've seen Paul Scanlon convert his own try successfully, making the score 21 points to 5. Not too much time left in the contest. I want to be thinking we'll see a few more subs making their way off the bench for the sides. Like I mentioned, Samoa, they got Paul Eti Slater, Tuna Tuitama, Iuna Sione, Levi Milford, and Fa'afoi Falaniko, because not everyone has social media to find out starting lineups as well, says CP. Yeah, it is one of those, that's gone out to the side for Australia in their kicking attempt. But yeah, it's one of those ones that you always want to know those lineups as soon as possible. So normally, like, the worst part for me is waiting for my video to export, because the green screen, just having this here, adds about 20 minutes onto any video's exporting time, and it's always annoying, but I love the green screen look of having the stadium behind me. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but yeah, it's all a lot of fun. The video making process, that is going to be another try for Australia in their game up against the Canadians. And also Beasto9 said, let's go boys with the Samoan flag. So their next game will be taking place in the morning. That will be 3, I'll just quickly get that exact time, 3:06 a.m. New Zealand time. That is going to be an exciting game. Samoa versus the USA. Very good match. And I cannot wait to see it, because that will determine who finishes first and also who finishes second. But as long as Samoa don't go on to lose this game, which they're currently winning by a 16-point margin, so I'd like to think that that wouldn't end up disappearing anytime soon. But as long as they manage to get through this match without too many problems, they will be through to the quarterfinals. I'm going to let go one more. Says NS Charles, I'm just noticing how much my voice starting to disappear. They dropped Angelo Davids for tomorrow's game, says CP. And it's been interesting because he has been not as successful ever since losing Selvin Davids next to him. I always say it, but those two, I think Selvin Davids made Angelo Davids look extremely good, if that makes sense. Like, Selvin Davids would do the perfect kick in behind, and then all that Davids really needed to do was just get onto that ball and score the try. How can I live stream this game? You can go on the World Rugby Sevens website. Depending on what country you're in, you may be able to watch this completely for free. If you've got a VPN, I highly recommend firing that up, setting yourself to, I actually went to Romania to be able to watch it on my phone. So yeah, I would recommend doing something like that. Or it's going to be on Sky Sport in New Zealand, Super Sport in South Africa. Va'apilo Maliko scoring another try. The scoreboard's a little bit asleep. There we go. It's back up there now. 26 points to 5. Currently in favour of Manu Samoa, and Va'apilo Maliko gets the double. Similar to what we saw for Unisioni in his first matchup that they did have in the Sevens circuit when they were playing Japan. And Whaamaloti boys, Agala Auma Le Kaimi. Hopefully I've said that correctly. But I think his is, or he's in the Sevens team for next weekend. So he might get to go with that combination of him and Selvin Davids again. He'll enjoy that because, like I mentioned, it seems to be Selvin gets that beautiful kick through, and then Davids is able to run it in and get that nice little bit of glory. I'm in Kenya. Kindly tell me the link to live stream. I love rugby, says Dennis. So your best bet in Kenya, I assume, is probably Super Sport. I think it's through the same one as South Africa, isn't it, if I'm not wrong? And Whaamaloti also, let's go, boys, go. Manu says Pele Fa'asua. Hopefully I've said that correctly there as well. But currently 26 points to 5 in this contest. Samoa leading over the Canadians. We've seen just the one try of Phil Burner, whereas Va'apilo Maliko, he has scored 2. Valvasa Afasua scores 1. And Paul Scanlon was able to score the other. And well done, boys. Says it was Taylor and scoreboard dripping, says Nate, and also the Samoan flags from Rona. But be sure to leave a like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, for the final match, Samoa versus the USA. That is at 3:06 a.m. We will be able to see the footage. Myself, this game, believe it or not, we haven't actually been able to watch the game due to them showing Canada versus Australia. So we've been working on live trackers, working out where they are on the field, and also alongside that, who has been scoring the tries throughout it. It's been an unorthodox one, but it's been a lot of fun as well. It's kind of weird not seeing the game, but still getting to talk about it. It's kind of cool. And well done, boys, says NS Charles, and also Malo boys, says Manu Samoa, and hey, Hamish, says Connor, welcome in, mate. If you are doing well, another try coming the way of the Samoans now, making the score 33 points to 5, really exceeding in this game, or really thriving in this game, I should say. And just came from watching a live stream of the Callisto Protocol, says Connor. And Jason is in the chat as well. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. We're about to find out who was that last try scorer, and it's illegal to stream live rugby. I have to watch here, says Terrific. And also, Hamish's Fiji versus New Zealand is on Sky Sports too. Yep, it is going to be on the game, or it's going to be shown, so we will be doing that commentary in only about 20 minutes' time. But Paul Scanlon scores it in the 14th. He also gets himself the double and makes the score 33 points to 5. The kick is successful from Paul Eti Slater. He came off the bench for the Samoans in Australia, says Anare. And yeah, they had their draw with the Kenyans. It was an interesting contest. Both sides working hard, 19 all. And it's an awful game. Anyone who's a game here, don't buy it, says Kanakeho. And also we're going to go. Manu says Telefire, and also Going for Australia there. I'm proud of you, boys, says NS Charles. Yeah, 2 from 2 wins at the moment for the Samoans by the looks of it. And that is going to be building a lot of confidence heading into their next contest, which is up against the USA. Like I mentioned, the toughest game in their group. They played well up against Japan. They had a few errors, but they were able to really, I guess, work them out by the end of the game. And then now heading into this game up against the Canadians, we're seeing a much better style, I would assume, from the Samoans, with the fact they were able to get those 5 tries. And where can I watch the game? It's not on Sky, says Junior. Believe it or not, I actually wasn't able to watch that whole game either. We have been looking at a live tracker in terms of where they are on the field. And also, we were looking at the World Sevens Series website to be able to work out who was scoring the tries and when they were scoring them. But it was a weird one. Apparently, the only place they had the second field was actually on Supersport, which is where the game was being played. There's a few overlaps that they're going to have that happen. I believe Canada versus Japan isn't being shown. Also, New Zealand, Uruguay isn't being shown here in New Zealand. And then Great Britain, Kenya's not being shown. So there's quite a few games that aren't being shown here in New Zealand. But yeah, we're going to be doing, luckily the rest of the games that we are covering are being shown. So that's good news. And thanks for the update, says Talua. No worries at all. And also we have got there, shame not to be for the Canucks as I'm living there. Might as well cheer them on, says Connor. And also Joe says lalale. And also make some more tries, boys. Let's hope. Also make some more tries, boys. Let's go, boys. Love you guys. Says Billy. And I told you, my boy. I told you West Indies would fold, says young boy Pete. And also we've got that I'm going to really butcher this, unfortunately. John, so I'll just read God bless at the end. Also, why is it illegal? Pretty much if you don't have the licensing to be able to show a match, then you can get yourself in a lot of trouble by showing it, which is why we don't normally have too much of the coverage on the channel. I love all you boys. Be courageous. Never give up to fight a good battle, a 7-a-side, says Itumalo. And yeah, my pick to be able to win the Dubai Sevens. They are still looking pretty decent at the moment. 2 from 2 wins. I need them to go all the way because that would be my boldest prediction. And it would be one of my first predictions that I actually have right if they were able to go all the way through and get themselves a win in the Dubai Sevens. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. I apologize for the fact that we weren't actually able to commentate play-by-play in this matchup rather than looking through the scores. But it was a lot of fun having a chat to you guys all about the Samoan side. Anyone wondering about the score, 33 points to 5. Va'a Pilomaliko scoring in the first and the 12th minute. Valvasa Afasua in the 4th. And then also alongside that, Paul Scanlon in the 9th and the 14th. And also, are you unaware? You can't just watch events like these for free unless you have the World Rugby website. That might actually be an option for you. Possibly, Dennis, if you're in Kenya, you might be able to search up World Rugby Sevens and they may have it showing actually on their website. That's a good option. And thanks so much. Says Drippy, no worries at all, mate. Currently now Brazil versus New Zealand just about to start. And next game that we are covering on the channel will be Fiji versus New Zealand. That has taken place at around about 11:10, I believe. So when we're starting that one. So 20 minutes time, we will be back on the channel and ready to go for another match of sevens. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Can you make a prediction? When will the World Cup or when will the world going to end? Says Brelam. Hopefully a little bit later because I want to know who wins the final of the Dubai Sevens. Now, that's only a little bit away, so hopefully we've got a bit more time left on the planet for now. Yeah, nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.